This is the Coin Show podcast, a show about coins and coin collecting, and not just any show. This is the #1 coin collecting podcast, going 10 years strong. Here's Matt Dinger and Mike Nottelmann on the Coin Show podcast.
Not quite Mike this time.
Oh, not quite Mike, not quite Matt. This is episode 203 of the Coin Show podcast. We are live at the Newman Numismatics Symposium, and we are joined by our special guest host, Lianna Spurrier. Lianna, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me back.
You're always welcome here. Let's see. So on tonight's episode of the Coin Show podcast, we have some coolest things that both Lianna and I have brought. We have, let's see. We are going to talk about the Newman Numismatic Portal and how you can help it to, or you can use it to help enhance your numismatic life, as well as just some banter and playful stuff. But first, as always, the news. That's funny. You didn't give me any news. Okay, so let's see. We go to the news. This is awesome. So the news is brought to us by Thumbtacks.
Excellent.
Yes. More aggressive. God, now I lost the script. Let's see. More aggressive than tape. We are Thumbtacks. This is turning into a train wreck already. This is great.
We're fine.
No, you're fine. We're great. All right. So let's try this again. All right, so bear with me for 1 second. Let's go in here and go to this. Boom. And it's not going to work, so we're just going to go here. That's fine.
We're troubleshooting on the fly tonight.
We are troubleshooting. All right, so back to the news, which was brought to us by, if people haven't tuned out by now. Okay. Jeez. Feels so unprofessional. All right, let's try this again. The United States Mint has released the 2022 proof sets. So, this is kind of what puzzles me. The new women on quarter proof sets are sold out when, in my humble opinion, I am not the person calling the shots at the U.S. Mint, but in my humble opinion, there are still opportunities to strike more. It's only April.
It seems like there should be.
So why have they limited the number of sets so early in the year? Let's put a thumbtack in that one. More to come.
All right.
That said, you can order a proof set and get every coin that is contained in the sold out Women on Quarters proof set. So no loss, only packaging, right?
Mm-hmm.
But these will also sell out quickly and early. And wouldn't that just beat everything, right? So the sets are available at $32, which is the same as previous years. I was puzzled that they didn't lower the price last year, even though it contained 3 less coins.
Yeah.
This, I think, leaves an indication as to why. It was just here to not change it. The Mint has also released these silver quarter proof sets. So an astounding $73
Oh my.
led to an almost immediate sellout. But a short time later, sets became available again. And once again, they are no longer available.
Interesting.
So I wonder if this is just a change in the way that the Mint sells proof sets. Short bursts of being available and quick sellouts.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that this might create some interest in proof sets, even if just by the speculators and the investment-minded collector.
I can definitely see it creating the impression of more scarcity than there is. You know, if it looks like they're immediately selling out and people are like, oh, there's a good opportunity to flip them, even if they're just releasing more in a few months. I'm not sure it'll help them long term, but at least like for this year, it might help boost sales in that regard.
Yes. Well, there's definitely more to come on this. But wait, there's more.
Oh, good.
So the Mint has the 2022 Burnished Silver Eagles and the S-Mint Proof Silver Eagles have sold out through the subscription programs. So the Mint has announced that these products will not be available for sale on the website at all.
That's
as
an
they have
odd
been for years. No, continue, please, because you're right.
That's an odd plan. It seems like the enrollment program would be used to tell them how many to strike.
You'd think that would be a gauge for demand, yeah, and yet no, that's nobody home. Okay, so they've been available like that for years, but rather now the subscription program has claimed all of the allotted production for the year. So I mean, even in my notes, I'm like, seriously, 3 marks. This, while the U.S. Mint is reporting that they produced over 1.24 billion coins for circulation in February of this year.
That was this time.
So according to the coinnews.net article, you know, the Federal Reserve orders more 1-cent coins from the Mint than any other denomination at a cost of 2.1 cents piece.
Excellent.
Yeah. And the Mint struck 694 million Lincoln cents last month. That was 55.1% of the circulating coins produced.
That's surprising to me.
Yeah. So
okay.
Now this is down 7.2% from the month over month. And but they made up for it by striking more Jefferson nickels, which also cost them more than they are face value. They struck more dimes and more quarters, but barely more quarters. Native American dollar coins are no longer ordered by the Fed, but they're still made in circulating quality for coin collectors. And the same is true, or was until last year, of Kennedy half dollars. Last year, you know, they decided to make them for circulation for some absolutely unknown reason. So according to, you know, the Coin Week article, or it's coinnews.net, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They said you know, traditionally in January, U.S. Mint products produces denominations to the expected amounts needed for the entire year, and that was true in 2021 for the Native American dollars, but not for halves. Okay, which they made through August. Sally Ride P, D, and S quarter rolls sold out, as well as the colorized Purple Heart silver dollar.
They're just selling out of everything this year.
That's why I said more to come. So the sellout of the Kamem is really no surprise, as the mintage was tiny and the coin is attractive. But again, to sell out of a product that are, you know, they're currently able to manufacture, and they can manufacture more of them. That's frustrating. Not because not just because I can't order them, right? It's because limited mintages from this year are going to mess things up. And this is where I said more to come, because this is where I get my rant, right? This should be like a sponsored segment of this show. Mike's Rant is brought to you by Cuban Cigars. You know, because here's the problem. People are going to complain because everything sold out so early this year. Which in turn, this is a whole if you give a mouse a cookie thing, right?
Yep.
Because when that happens, the complaints are going to change the Mint ordering policies. Meanwhile, the public, which doesn't pay attention to the Mint ordering policies, vowing never to miss out again, okay, are going to start ordering this stuff, absolutely tons of it, making it common and largely uncollectible. So, hashtag Dear US Mint, your actions have impacts. But what do I know?
That's very surprising that they've sold out of so many things. And I'm not sure whether to attribute that to low mintages or very high sales.
I think it's interesting that they used the word sold out. Now, if they said no longer available,
That's fair.
Potentially, we can make them later in the year. That would have been a much more prudent approach.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what they're doing is they're setting it up to where they can say, no, we're done.
Mm-hmm.
They have no mint director right now. So they're kind of they're a little at sea. Let's see. Can you name the 5 women that were honored on this year's quarters, Lianna?
Sally Ride, Maya Angelou, I'm out.
That's about where I was too.
Yeah.
So Matt hates when I do that too. So truthfully, I just had to do it with somebody else. But I couldn't do it either. I tried this afternoon when I was sitting in my car. So now we'll see if we can recognize any of the 5 women for 2023.
Oh no. Should I open the article?
Oh yeah.
Am I about to be quizzed?
Okay. No, it's fine. Come on, seriously. Now, I think that I can turn around and I can tell you that, or I can turn this whole thing around and say that the fact that we don't know it is a good thing. Because I'm learning about women that I've never heard of, and I'm learning their stories. Placing these people on coinage will not only get me, but people of future generations to wonder who they are. So the fact that I had never, heard of Anna Otero, who is she? I actually had never heard of Wilma Mankiller either.
Yeah, I haven't either.
But these are people who have great stories. Anime One. So it's Anna Otero Warren. That's what it is.
Okay.
And those are the women that are on this year's coin. Next year, a little bit different. Next year we have, we have Bessie Coleman, Hovita Idar, Edith Kanaka-Ole, Eleanor Roosevelt, and Maria Tallchief. Now, first I'll say diverse.
That's for sure.
Absolutely diverse. So that's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
There's only 2 women on this list that I've ever heard of.
You're beating me. I got 1.
Eleanor Roosevelt.
Yep.
Bessie Coleman I knew because I know music. So Bessie Coleman was, at least I think so. Oh no. I take that back. I'm completely forgetting. Bessie Coleman was a pilot.
Oh.
God. This is a train wreck.
A little different from music.
Yeah, just a little bit. She was the first African American and the first Native American woman pilot.
Okay.
And the first African American to earn an international pilot's license. So
Cool.
Bessie Coleman. Hovita Idar was a Mexican American journalist, activist, teacher, and suffragist. Edith Kanaka-Ole is an indigenous Hawaiian composer. And Maria Tallchief is America's first prima ballerina.
Very cool.
Now, unbeknownst to me, there are only 20 women honored in this series. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of surprised at some of the directions they've gone, because there are a couple of names that I haven't heard yet that I was expecting.
Mm-hmm.
And I can only assume because there's only 2 more years. I can only assume that they will be covered. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's always going to be omissions when there's a field of 20.
Oh yeah.
And so fitting that they give women a kind of short. Okay, so America's Hat has released another penny.
Kind of.
Yeah, kind of. Oh, well, I kind of like it this way. So I think, let's see, America's Hat has. Jeez, this thing keeps bouncing around on me. This one is 5 ounces of pure silver and will not be found lying around on the ground outside of convenience stores. That's for sure. What's your opinion, Lianna, on making coins like this?
Well, for this one in particular, I've always loved pennies, and I'm somewhat sad that Canada no longer has them. But I really like the design on this and like the reimagining of the leaves. And I was skimming this article before we got on, and apparently leaf portion, I think, is very infused into the coin. So like I want to see one in person. If it was not 5 ounces, I might end up with one. Canada really likes their specialty commemoratives.
You would rather that we continue to mint coins at continue to mint cents at 2+ cents a piece?
My issue was more, I mean, I'll forever have an emotional attachment to pennies.
Okay.
I'm not saying it makes sense to continue making them economically, but
Okay.
I do take issue that Canada like got rid of the penny, but didn't get rid of the denomination of a cent in commerce. So I would rather see get rid of the penny and the nickel and just chop off the last decimal point of everything. So we just start at the dime and that's the lowest thing. I don't like having a denomination that isn't represented physically.
Although there's some would argue that that would create inflation on an order of magnitude. However, I
have also heard that.
It's the same, but
I'm not an economist.
Well, I like the fact that the leaves on this are infused. It's really a nice design, and it is a nice reimagining of the cent. I wonder why you would commemorate something that you got rid of.
That's fair.
That's just kind of the thing. I mean, why would you commemorate something that you were kind of anxious to get rid of? But I digress. Have you ever seen a U.S. Mint gold disc?
No.
I was really intrigued by this article in Coin Week. So the discs look like they're U.S. Mint gold coins, but they were created at a time when the U.S. Mint wasn't minting gold coins at all. So in the 1950s, and this is according to Coin Week, numismatists were puzzled by these discs until in 1957 the story emerged. In the numismatist, Aramco required to pay royalties and other payments in gold to the Saudi government. And they couldn't obtain the gold at the monetary price fixed by the United States. So the government specifically began to mint the discs, they're actually bullion, for payments. In 1945, for example, the mint turned out 91,210 large discs worth $20. And in 1947, 121,364 small discs worth $5. Now, here's the thing, though. This is the kind of doublespeak that really, really gets me. It's like, so you're saying that the U.S. Mint, or that the United States government had to pay the Saudi government for oil in gold. Okay, that's an economic, I get that. But they were unable to acquire the gold at the monetary price fixed by themselves?
I'm not sure what to make of that.
Something very unclear about the story, if nothing else. I mean, I think it's really, it's cool, you know, and these discs are really neat.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, and then I think the story goes on to say that a lot of them were melted.
Yeah, I saw that.
Melted for bullion, they were redeemed for gold sovereigns.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I'm shocked.
Yeah, I mean, you can imagine these things are very rare.
Yeah, I'm shocked it's not one of the rarities that we've heard more about, given, you know, the 33 double eagle was when we weren't officially coining gold, and it's of course very well known, and this is a similar, at least like time period, you know, it was gold minted when we weren't supposed to be minting gold, with a lot of story behind it, it seems like. So I'm surprised that this isn't a more well-known facet of numismatics.
Well, okay, but let's take a look at that for a second. If you go into the, you know, the story of the 33 double eagle, that is a coin that was made for commerce, right? So the fact that that's not available for commerce doesn't stop you from making this coin. And I just don't understand. You're the government. I thought you know, it's like what was it, Coming to America? I thought you were the king. You know, it's like, I thought you made the rules. That's all. Just saying. And then they only show the one side of it.
Yeah, I was scrolling trying to find a picture of the other side.
Yeah, no.
Didn't find it.
Not in the head. Okay, well, you know, the ANA is looking for speakers for the Money Talks series at the World's Fair of Money. And who knows, maybe somebody will do one on this disc.
Yeah.
Right. So let's see. Have you done a Money Talks?
I have. I did at the last ANA about a specific piece from the Japanese bar miniseries.
I should know that because I was there. I was sitting in the audience watching it. So ANA members are encouraged to share their ideas and research with fellow hobbyists by delivering a Money Talks presentation to the 2022 World's Fair of Money in the Chicago suburb of Rosemont, August 16th through 20th at the Donald D. Stevens Convention Center. Those interested in giving a Money Talks presentation should submit an online proposal at money.org/numismatic-events/money-talks. Say that 3 times fast. Proposals are due no later than Saturday, April 30th. The talks will take place Thursday, August 18th and Friday, August 19th. The presentation should be from 30 to 45 minutes in length. Now, you know, I love these talks because you never know what they're going to be about.
That's for sure.
There is just a, you know, there's a breadth of information and people that really love to share.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's kind of like if I didn't do this podcast, I'd probably do something like that.
Yeah. I know we've had a lot of presenters over this weekend, and I'm sure some of them might be interested in that. So if you presented here, you could probably shorten your presentation to fit this.
There you go. Let's see. Germany has, it's like the Ohio State University. Germany has issued a new series of coins that feature a polymer ring. Now, this technology paves the way for a lot of innovations, in particularly bimetallic coins. And the polymer rings, you know, you can put them in different colors. You can do all kinds of things with it. The integrity of the coin is pretty good. You know, they've been kind of experimenting with this idea for a while, but now they've really issued. Now they've come out with it. They think they've perfected it, and they've issued a series of coins that feature it.
That's very cool. I hadn't seen those before, or any coin that tried to use polymer in any way.
Yeah, so
that's cool. That's a very different way to do color on coins than anything I've seen.
You know, and think about this. Now, you take an artistic thing and you add to it an artistic idea, and now you can really make that work for yourself. You know, you could put an orange thing in there, maybe make a coin with Saturn on it, and put a ring. You know, I mean, just all kinds of things.
That's interesting. I'll be curious to see what else they decide to do with it.
Yeah. The world's tiniest gold coin is now available. The mini Rue coin measures 11.6 millimeters in diameter. That's just over a millimeter. I mean, just over a centimeter.
I like it.
And 1 millimeter thick.
Oh my gosh.
I couldn't find the price on these. Whatever it is too much. I mean, forget about seeing the design, right? Which is going to be troublesome for anybody over the age of 40. How are you not going to lose this thing?
I think it's there. It's housed in a protective acrylic capsule and presented in a wallet-sized card.
Yeah, where you still won't be able to see it on the card. I mean, this thing is tiny.
I'm not saying it's practical in any way, shape, or form, but I appreciate that it exists.
Okay, so let's think about this one for a second. Let's do a little quick and dirty math. So if an ounce of gold right now is $1,900, and we're just pulling that number, it's close, right? And we figure out 31.1, that's $61 a gram. There is $30 worth of gold in this.
Excellent.
So where do you think they're pricing it? I don't know. So this is it's rhetorical.
My guess, maybe like 100.
Yeah, it's probably somewhere in there.
Is it on their website yet?
No. Again, this is another one that you can't find it. This one and my next one.
Darn.
Yeah, you can't find the price for them. And finally, in the news, you know, it's all disconnected tonight anyway. So the Perth Mint has created a new 5-ounce kookaburra coin. Now the kookaburras, you know, they make them 1 ounce, 2 ounce, 5 ounce, 10 ounce, and they share a common design. So Even though the 5 ounce is a limited edition, you can still get the same design in the 1 ounce. But the 5 ounce is a really nice. It's a big coin. Has some real heft to it. And this design will be infused into the coin.
That's cool.
Now, this is not to be confused, and I'm going to be the grammar Nazi on this one, with the lowered relief that you find on Indian 2.5s and 5s. That is sunken relief because the design comes up from the inside of the coin. In this case, the design is sunken into the coin, and that's an infused design. Very cool. You know, you don't see a lot of coins like that. It's just got a really neat design.
Yeah, I'm always intrigued by the infused designs on coins just because they're so unusual.
And for the Kookaburra design, or for the Kookaburra series, this is the design first. I think quite an attractive coin. The release is limited on this 5 ounce coin to 500 coins.
Oh my.
Now, I couldn't find a price, but other coins of this ilk have sold for around $450.
Okay.
So
I'll not be purchasing one, but it'd be cool to be able to see.
that's a lot. And that was the news. And today the news was brought to us. I'm going to get this right. Let's see. Let's see. Come on. There we go. And this week, the news was brought to us by thumbtacks. More aggressive than tape, less intrusive than nails. Thumbtacks.
You're listening to the Coin Show podcast with Matt Dinger and Mike Nottelmann.
So we find ourselves where we are in this Newman Numismatic Portal doing once again the symposium. So everybody here is familiar with the Newman Numismatic Portal. So tell us, what is it that happens there besides this symposium every year?
So the symposium is kind of an offshoot of the NNP. The NNP itself is an online research archive of entirely numismatic related documents. So there are a lot of old auction catalogs, a lot of old issues of magazines. Some of them are still in copyright and they won't display, but a lot of them are up there now, so you can view the entire issue. I know some of the older numismatists are full view. And there's like a group of numismatic postcards that I reference a lot for videos. It's basically the encyclopedia of coins.
and to say something about the archives that they have, I will tell you that I work for Harlan Burke. At Harlan Burke, we are known for, the numismatic knowledge, the expertise that we have in our house. And one of the things that impressed me about Burke when I walked in was literally the library. I mean, there are books every place. There's books behind my desk. There's books out on the sales floor. There's books behind, Laura's desk. There's books in front of Bob's desk. There's books in Bob's, just every place you go, there's just shelves and shelves and shelves of books. And a lot of them are auction catalogs, because back in the old days, if you wanted to know something about a coin, the easiest way to find it is figure out, where it sold last. And you have most of the research done for you. So, doing that kind of stuff was invaluable, and it made houses very, very highly thought of in the industry. Now you have that kind of stuff available to you just on the internet. You can go on the Numismatic Portal and you can look up auction catalogs. You can look up research, and you can identify things without having to have, 15 rooms of books. Which, look at me, I'm cool with that, but I still think that there's something really good about being able to go into a database and look, versus having to figure it out.
Yeah, and it's a lot easier to find what you're looking for. If you know what coin you need to find in an auction catalog, you can simply search the name of the coin, and so it's a lot easier to find that last sale of it if that's what you're going after.
And so how do things get to be archived in Newman Numismatic Portal? Like, for example, I will tell you that I've been wondering if they would be interested in archiving like the episodes of the Coin Show podcast. Would that be something that they do?
Yes, so pretty much they have the curator, Leonard Augsburger, who you may have seen in some of our other sessions during the symposium. He's one of our facilitators. And so he's kind of the main head of what content goes up on the NNP. For the most part, if it's related to coins, and if it's free, they'll probably take it. I know they do purchase content as well, I believe. But so I'm very confident that they would be happy to archive the Coin Show podcast on there. I have very little doubt of that. I know Len appreciates you all. And so a lot of what they do is actually scanning older documents. And so they work with someone, I believe, the ANS, and they have someone like in their office at Washington University who just actively scan documents and get them uploaded and put together and all of that. So it's a lot of getting their hands on and the rights to paper copies of older publications. That's the word I couldn't come up with.
Wasn't it recently that they uploaded all of Coin World? Coin World, or was it something else that they recently did? Because it was nice. It was numismatic literature, and I appreciated it. It wasn't just auction catalogs and stuff like that. I
know Coin World is up there. I'm not sure if they have it on full view. There are some publications where like they have gotten the rights to scan it in and make it indexable so you can search through it, but you can't like open the full publication to view the entire thing. And so it'll just kind of give you the issue number or the page so you can go seek it out from the original publisher, and it has something to do with whatever you were researching, or you can contact the NNP and see if they can get you a copy. But I'm not sure,
because it keeps it behind the paywall where the publishers still are able to make money off their work. That's right. That's where the things always lag with this is that you have artists, in the music business, or in our business, you have writers and people that really do a lot of work researching this stuff.
Of course.
And they need to make a living. And so, there's no issue with, letting them publish but it would be really great to be able to find stuff, just to be able to research it, to be able to make what they did more useful.
Exactly. I checked, and Coin World is still restricted. It's there, but it is restricted. So I know the recent numismatist is the same way. So if you're a member of the ANA, then you can go to their catalog and access it there. And some of the older issues I have seen full view on the NNP. So some of them are up there.
Okay. What do they have planned for us for the future? Is there anything that's coming down the pipe that that is, I should say, coming down the pike? Grammar Naziing people. I'm
not sure I know of anything, and also know that I am at liberty to share it.
Okay. Oh, you can tell us, then you'd have to kill us.
I know we are, so for this symposium and the last one, we've done what we're calling a feature presentation, which is we've chosen an important coin collection to highlight, and then we produced a video about it. We did the Smithsonian's collection in October, and then the Hansen collection this weekend. And so we produce a very fancy, like 20 to 30 minute video about that coin collection, and then have a Q&A afterwards with someone connected to it. And I know that's a series that we're hoping to be able to continue and get access to some more important collections. For the Hansen one, we actually got to go to the collection itself to film on site and got an interview with Hansen. So that was a really exciting one to work on. But I know we're hoping to continue that series, probably continue to be in conjunction with the symposium. But I know there are hopes to keep that one going.
And the portal will be fully funded for the foreseeable future, right? It operates through a grant, right? Or
I know it's funded through the estate of Eric Newman.
Right.
So as far as I'm aware, there is no danger of it disappearing anytime in the near future. Not exactly my purview, but I don't think that is a concern to be had.
Good, because it's a recent, it's a recent addition to the numismatic landscape. I think it's something that's invaluable. I remember sitting at a Money Talks at an ANA, remembering when they were talking about launching the portal and how you'll have access to all this. I was just sitting there, I was drooling over the whole thing.
Yeah, I actually first learned that it existed listening to a podcast of the Coin Show.
Okay. It comes full circle. That's the way it works.
And so I used it for a lot of research on the very first like coin video that I had produced back in 2018. And it was absolutely invaluable as far as chasing down things that I just could not find on the internet at large or like in my school's library or anything like that. I would never have found most of the images used in that video and the references used were it not for the NNP and it being available online for free. So
and the great thing about the NNP is that the images that you find there you can use.
Yes.
So you can share them, and they're complete, you know, they give you public domain basically of them and just let you have that. It's a beautiful thing. So if listeners to my podcast who are not at the Newman Numismatic Portal Symposium today want to find the portal, where would they find it?
So there are actually 2 URLs that direct to it. And I'm not sure which is more like the one that they give out. The one that I have always used is nnp.wustl. It's Washington University at St. Louis .edu, and that'll get you there. I think newmanportal.org directs you to the same place.
And if nothing else, Google is your friend.
It is your friend.
Don't do that. All right, Lianna, thank you for telling us about the portal, and we look forward to, you know, one of these days we're going to put together a show on the portal that's not just a complete train wreck, but I think we've saved this one. We've pulled it back from the rim. You know, it's been there for a while.
Yeah, we're fine. And I checked newmanportal.org does indeed get you to the NNP. So if that's easier to remember, there you go.
Okay.
And someone in the Q&A on the symposium has informed us that the mini Roo coin sells for about $80.
$80. Double melt. That's not too unreasonable.
Yeah, they did point out that it is a proof.
It's a method of manufacture. Okay, yeah. That is still half a gram of gold. So do we have any questions from the viewers at the symposium?
Let's see. If anyone has any questions, go ahead and send them in. This is your time. There is one in here, which I'm not sure how much of this was rhetorical and how much is a genuine question. But it says, why put Tall Chief on both a quarter and a dollar next year?
So apparently Tall Chief is going to be featured on a Native American dollar as well. That does seem to be overkill when, as I've said, you know, there's people that are going to be missed, people that are going to be excluded. So I don't know, maybe maybe this is a problem of committees.
That was my first thought.
Anytime you talk about our government, that's what I immediately think of is what kind of red tape can cause this kind of stuff.
Yep. Could very likely just be 2 groups deciding that didn't talk to each other.
And now watch, the images aren't going to look anything like each other. Oh yeah, it's going to be great.
It'll be good. Okay, I'm not seeing any others come through.
Okay, so then we will move on to the coolest thing.
Alrighty.
This is a segment that Matt and I like to do. That talks about the coolest thing that walked into our shops this week. Now, Lianna has brought her very own, and I will let the lady go first, and you can tell us what is the coolest thing that you brought.
Okay, so this is just a random piece from my own collection, and I think the past 2 times that I've been on the show in some capacity, I have shared a Japanese coin.
Yeah.
So I am not sharing a Japanese coin this time in a shopping turn of events.
I'm actually surprised.
I thought about it. I did. Let me get this shared. There we go. So on the face, this is a very average flying eagle. which is fair. But I actually got this one in a lot of coins from eBay, and it was like 6 coins, 3 eagles and 3 Indians, and the photos were utterly atrocious. All I knew was that is all the information I knew about what I was getting, were the types of coins, and I had a couple dates. And like 2 of them looked like they had some good detail, and I wanted one of those, and it was really cheap, so I bought it.
This coin is not horrible.
This one looked like it was like on a really good day, you might be able to call it a fair 2 in the photo. It was just a coppery circle, entirely bleached out by the lighting. And so I was shocked when I got the coins in the mail and pulled them out. I was like, where on earth was this in the photo?
Well, think about this. You'd have never gotten it that cheap.
Oh, no, not at all. There were other good coins with it as well.
Can we see the other side?
Yes, it is. If my photos would cooperate, right there.
Okay.
And so after I got this one, I was going to summer seminar that summer, and I took Rick Snow's class on flying eagles and Indian head scents. So I brought this one with me because I was concerned it might have been cleaned, just with the coloring. And so I had him look at it, and he told me that by his grading, it would be an XF45. I took it to NGC at the next show that I went to, and they gave it an AU50 or an AU cleaned, which I was very sad about. So I will forever call it a straight graded XF45, but I'm not going to try to reholder it because that's a lot of effort. And I'm not trying to sell it. So,
in fairness, if Rick Snow calls it an XF45 and it's a flying eagle scent,
exactly,
it's an XF45. I really don't care what NGC or PCGS say.
Exactly. I just wanted it in a holder for protection, and yeah.
I mean, I would think that anything of this age has been cleaned. That's just the way it works, right? Mm-hmm. It's hard to imagine that something would go unscathed for that many years. Mm-hmm. That said, this doesn't look to be egregious, and it's the strike on it is actually kind of weak, which is what would lead people to undergrade the coin. You can see weakness in the one and scent, which is a central device, and there are devices around it, the wreath, that are stronger. But I also think that you can see some definite wear on the tops of the leaves and things like that. So nice coin. And I would say if you paid anywhere under $50 for it, you did very well. And I'm quite certain that you paid less than that for the lot.
I believe I paid 40 something for the lot of 6 coins, and there was an at least VF copper nickel Indian in there as well.
Okay. So
better than that,
I think you did very, very well. That's one of the things. This is small letters. And one of the things that took me a little bit to kind of get my head around when grading these is the fact that they're so thick and they're so hard. It's like you can tell copper nickel Indian head scents from the bronze ones just by looking at the planchets. I mean, they're almost twice as thick.
Yeah.
So nice coin.
Thank you. I was very excited when I opened that package from eBay, and flying eagles were always like one of my favorites. And as a kid, when I finally got one, it was super exciting because they were really expensive for me as an 11-year-old. And so I'd only ever had like this extremely worn, damaged one. And then I got this group of them in the mail, and suddenly I had this lovely example, and I was so excited.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know that to this day I even own. I'm a type collector, and it's like I have lots of different types. I don't think I have a flying eagle scent. I don't think I've ever owned one.
But that's a type.
For that exact reason. It's because they're usually, really pricey, and you don't get a lot of detail on them for what you pay. It's if I could find one like this for 40, yeah, absolutely.
Not for sale.
I'm sure not. But that's okay. Because so my coolest thing, we do this, Matt and I do this as a competition segment. So I have to enlighten the people that don't listen to us all the time. It has grown into a competition segment. When we first started this show, Matt was a dealer and I was a coin collector. And we brought things from those two different perspectives. It's like collector and the dealer, and I still see things a lot of the times from the collector's point of view. And So we developed a segment to talk about the coolest thing that walked into Matt's shop because, I mean, you never know what's going to walk into a coin shop. Well, then I went to work for one of the biggest shops in Chicago, certainly, and as far as ancient coins, one of the biggest shops in the country.
Mhm.
And so it became very clear to me very quickly that I would be handling some very nice stuff on a very regular basis. And so I kind of shoehorned my way into the segment and started, bringing some stuff. And for the most part, I brought some stuff and it was really decent. It was competitive and this and that. And then Matt started getting a little cocky and Matt started poking the bear. So when Matt started poking the bear, it's like he started getting really, hey, grind on this one, kind of thing. So I believe last show I told him, I said, okay, no more Mr. Nice Guy, we're going to see what we can bring. And I brought a chain set. I think this one may be right up there with it. So this is not a competition. I love your coin wins, that's cool. But when was the last time that you saw a really nice PCGS certified flowing hair $50? So this is in our front case at Harlenberg. AG3 straight grade. It's a beautiful coin, lettered edge, made on a screw press. Virtually nothing left. But man, if this thing could talk.
The date's still very clear.
The date is very clear. One of the things I find myself doing on these kind of coins all the time is trying to count stars.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is the era where they, did 14, 15, 16, 17 stars on some of these coins. So it's really cool. And I don't know that to be the case on this, but it was just, it's when we've got 8 to the left. Absolutely. So I'd have 15 on this.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. So many of them are just entirely worn off.
Yes. And one of the things to think about with this coin is that they would strike these on a screw press, which means that the metal still flows from the outside of the end, but it doesn't always flow as evenly. And so you will get areas like the end of Liberty where things are really strong. And the exact opposite side of the coin is really strong. And then I meant the bottom of the coin, kind of like what do they call it? A Blakesley effect, where it gives you that same kind of strike. And if you look at the weak parts are exact opposite of each other on the coin. And then you go to the reverse and you see that same kind of stuff where you see the weak strike and the strong strike, and the center devices aren't, particularly well struck, but that is, your typical, screw press $50 from the early mint.
Very cool.
Yeah. And we have it. It is for sale. It is still for sale. We're asking $995 for it, which is reasonable. It's a very nice price for a very nice coin.
Yeah, certainly not a type that you see every day.
No.
In any circumstance.
No. So they're fun. We like doing it. So that's what I brought to smack Matt over the head with this week, and he ran.
That's it.
Yeah. Let's see. So what else do we have? We did coolest thing. We talked about the Newman numismatic portal. We did the news. Do you have anything you want to add? I mean, you've become like almost a regular fill-in host for us.
Yeah, I think this is the second time I've filled in for a host, and then I was on one time as like a normal guest. Talking about the Japanese coins.
Yes, and one of these days we are going to see that coolest thing of your Japanese coins. I really do want to do that. One of these days we're going to see this episode too. Okay, well, so I guess if we have nothing else and we have no questions, then we would like to thank all the people that made this show possible. The wonderful people at the Newman Numismatic Portal for laying out the red carpet for us, for making everything that we do look and sound a whole lot better than it was, trust me. And to all of our producers, you know, there's Justin, there's Barry, there's Ernesto, and then the guy on the stickers. So we like busting these guys a little bit. So they all work really hard to help us produce this show and to help make it a thing. You can visit us at coinshowradio.com, where you can listen to all the episodes of the Coin Show podcast. You can also check us out on Patreon. We have another podcast that we do just for the patrons, and it's for a $5 a month subscription or more. And you get another entire podcast, as well as I also do another podcast with Aaron Burke called the Ancient Coin Podcast with Aaron Burke, oddly enough. And he's teaching me about ancient coins. If you want to learn ancient coins, this podcast may be the right thing for you, because, you know, I mean, as I make my mistakes, you get to learn from them. And I'm the one that ends up looking like a dummy.
There you go. We do actually have a question in the Q&A from a symposium viewer. Are you going to have the AG3 half sent to CAC?
It is not on our list to CAC it at this time. Typically, and here's what I had to kind of learn, is that we look at it from the standpoint of, with that CAC sticker, is it really making it, you know, that much more valuable? Because you've got to insure it both ways. You got to send it both ways. And then there's the grading fee. Now, CAC isn't so bad because it's not, you know, PCGS, but at the same time, you're still putting another $30 or so into the coin. And if it's not going to make a bit of difference on what you sell it for, or if it really doesn't up the profit on it, from our standpoint, we're completely mercenary about it. We're in the business to make money.
All right.
Okay. I also want to thank you, Lianna, for being here and for joining us. And thank you to everybody who listened. Without you, this entire endeavor would be entirely pointless.
Yes, and for all of the symposium people, thank you for joining us. The Coin Show has been a mainstay from our first symposium, so we're always happy to have them back. We will be back bright and early, depending on where you are in the country, at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning with some more great presentations. We only have one per hour tomorrow since it's the last day. And we are starting off with Ben Dalgleish, who is actually based in Hong Kong and is a friend of mine. So tune into that one. He's staying up late to be able to present for us. So looking forward to that. And that'll wrap us up. I believe you have a little outro clip.
I have an out. So for the Coin Show, I'm Mike.
And I'm Lianna.
Yeah, there you go. We'll talk to you next time on the next episode of the Coin Show podcast.
You've been listening to the Coin Show podcast with Matt Dinger and Mike Nottelmann.
Sort of.
The boys will be back soon with another informative and entertaining episode. Meanwhile, you can follow the show on social media at The Coin Show on Twitter and Instagram, and on Facebook at facebook.com/The Coin Show. You can also join their private group. Just search Facebook groups for Friends of the Coin Show and request access. But if you want to take it to the next level and support the Coin Show podcast, you can go to www.patreon.com/The Coin Show. If you subscribe at the $5 a month level or higher, you'll have access to Not the Coin Show podcasts on the off weeks, as well as other surprises reserved for our patrons. Visit our website at coinshowradio.com or download our podcasts on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, or wherever you download your podcasts. This has been the Coin Show Podcast.